A lot going on outside right now with all the rain, so everyone stay safe as you...
Including Derek Bodner.
including Derek Bodner and all of you. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman Orthopedics. Along with Kyle Newbeck, I'm Devon Givens. Bree is producing, and all of you in the chat. Look at Marcus Blackstock saying, showing up right now. And yes, you are, Marcus. We appreciate it. But thanks, everybody, for jumping on in. We want to talk about the young guys today to start things off because they have been seemingly the ones that have been occupying a lot of the space.
The gym space.
The gym space.
For damn sure.
Yes, they have, and that is Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, the newest of course, VJ Edgecombe, Janai Broom, Adem Bona also out there. A few others mixed in as well. But, Kyles, we've been talking about this team and this season and what it might look like and how much would they start to lean more towards Tyrese Maxey and the others because of the uncertainty of Joel Embiid. Of course, the history health-wise in year one with Paul George, and then we get the news a few weeks ago that he was dealing with a knee issue. And where they are right now, are they kind of setting the tone for what we should be expecting this upcoming season, especially not knowing what you're going to get from the two vets with Tyrese Maxey leading the way?
Yeah, so I think the most notable thing for me that we've seen from these young guys as we see them pop up in the Sixers practice facility, I've seen VJ Edgecombe was on a stream with, I believe it was Jared,
Adem.
One of Jared's good friends, and Adem lurking in the back, right?
With some glasses on.
With some glasses, looking very polished and
studious.
Intelligent. Studious is a great word for that. But I think the expectation is almost always the first and second year players will be here early. They're going to get the work in with the coaching staff, the development staff, that when you get drafted, now the team has their hands on you and says, like, all right, here's kind of what we want from you. And so you report early, you get in the gym, and that all happens. Tyrese Maxey being here is a little different, right? Because he certainly works with a well-known, well-respected trainer in Chris Johnson in the summertime. He does workouts in Texas, where he's from, and he's been traveling. We talked about the Paris Fashion Week appearance. And so, like, he's got stuff going on, and he's working on his game. But before August even hits, he is participating in these sessions where it is all those first and second year guys, the guys trying to, make their place in the league and show that they're good enough to even be at this level, right? And for Tyrese to be there, I think reflects something that he's talked about a lot over the last year and a half with Joel injured, with the team not necessarily succeeding, and not necessarily means they have not succeeded during that time. He's controlling what he can control, right? His approach and his mindset, as far as I can tell, is I don't know if Paul George will be healthy. I don't know if Joel Embiid will be healthy. I don't know, even if Joel is relatively healthy, if he's the guy that he was in the past, or he is a diminished version of himself who has less to give, that puts more on someone like Derek Bodner walking in, who puts more on Tyrese Maxey's shoulders, right? And so with all of that in mind, right, he knows the organization, the players involved better than any of us do, certainly. He's just saying, why don't I go here for this? Why don't I participate and sort of show these guys the way, whether that's in the weight room, the types of workouts that he's doing, participating in. Maybe there are times when it's just like, I'll rebound for you, right? We saw in Las Vegas with Jared there, he wasn't going through these practices with VJ, for example. But as VJ's going through some form shooting drills, he's under the basket and he's like, I'm part of this, right? I'm helping you. I want to be a part of the start of your NBA journey. And so to see Tyrese, who has made an all-star team, is on a max contract, who in many ways has solidified himself as like a real deal NBA guy, for him to be involved in the, mid-summer stuff with all these guys, I think speaks highly of Tyrese's, character and commitment to being a leader. And it plants a seed that even if things do go left for the veteran guys who all of us kind of expect to be hurt. These guys will have each other. These guys can establish their own, young and ascending culture. And that's a cool thing to see, because for a lot of the last decade, it's really just been as Joel goes, the organization goes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not a healthy way to have a competitive and, high functioning organization. So I applaud Tyrese for making that decision and taking some of this into his own hands.
I even take it back to the rebounding part that you discussed when we were in the Bahamas for training camp. And remember when Joel couldn't really practice and participate, but post-practice when everybody was done and we would still be in the gym, we were allowed to be there. And Tyrese Maxey was rebounding for Joel Embiid with the other assistant coaches and the player development guys. And Tyrese Maxey is the one that's doing that. When we talk about being in Las Vegas, sure, Paul George snuck in. You kind of didn't really see him. Joel, we know, is going through still his rehab and whatever he's doing. Tyrese Maxey's there, though. And he's there, and he's also there side by side with Trendon Watford, friend, now newly acquired Trendon Watford for the Philadelphia 76ers, who was also in the gym with them.
I don't think we mentioned him, but I believe he was one of the guys who was
also
in
the gym. So, yes, you do like to see that. You do like to see that Tyrese Maxey is just simply saying, and I'd imagine, too, he does this anyway, and we talked about it yesterday where he's in the gym and he's posting on Instagram at 5:50 in the morning as he's sitting down on the floor.
If he wasn't there, he'd be in a gym somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, so he's done working out. It's 6 a.m. in the morning, so he's sitting down, taking a breather and saying he loves this place and he loves being in the gym. It's still something that they're trying to, hey, man, take it easy a little bit. We know you love the gym. Get out of the gym a little bit. Take a little breather. But it had to drive him crazy that he was unable to be on the floor last season as much as he wanted to be, and especially at the end when the games didn't matter anymore. His hand was messed up. He wasn't shooting in some of those games where we're doing post-game saying, I know his hand is hurting, but what is he doing out there? And if he's not going to play, then he probably should just be sitting down, and then eventually they did it. So it had to be driving him nuts. So for him to be cleared and being able to go through
it was driving him nuts. He talked about, man, I don't like sitting around and watching other people play.
So to be cleared and to have the opportunity to get back into his normal routine of working out in the offseason, wanting to get better, and knowing that if he is now the leader of this team, and he saw how things went a year ago, and some of those things surprised him a little bit as being the focal point of the offense with the other two out, he doesn't want to get caught like that anymore without an answer. Derek, as an all-star, as a guy we talk about almost as an all-NBA player that same year that he made the all-star team, well, he doesn't want to get stuck in that spot again where he's, not just us, but he's trying to figure out, what didn't I do to uplift our basketball team? And then with that, let me hold the guys' hands and walk them through what needs to happen this offseason. And this is also going to be, when we all get there, you're going to be prepared for a training camp once we get there, because these are the things we do. I'm planting the seeds right now. This is a winning organization. This is a culture that we want to build. And he is, again, planting that flag of, yes, Joel and Paul George will be here at some point, but this is mine too.
Yeah. And look, I think sometimes we can get a little too reductive on the, winning team, so therefore they have good culture and they have great habits. Sometimes talent does prevail, but that doesn't mean that those little things don't matter. And a lot of times, especially when you're a young kid coming into an organization, you can say like, oh, your best player doesn't need to be a leader. But that's unrealistic. He might not need to be a vocal leader, but young players are always going to look to that player, look at his habits, look at the way he approaches film sessions, practice sessions, rehab, all of that stuff, and you're going to take cues from it. It's just natural when you are a younger player or a less experienced person heading into an organization or a company or anything, but especially a basketball team. So having someone like Tyrese, who I think the first couple of years, he probably wanted to blend in a little bit more than he does now. He's starting to feel a lot more confident in himself. It's one thing to be like, this is Tyrese Maxey's team. It's one thing for like Daryl Morey or somebody to say that. It's a different thing for him to act like it. And I think over the last, 12 to 24 months, he has started to act like it, especially now with Joel Embiid being so uncertain. And when you have somebody who does, doing the little things and focusing on the little things comes naturally to Tyrese. It's not something he is forcing himself to do. It's not something he has adopted as he has gained, a prominence in this league. It's just something, it's the reason he is here. So I think having that kind of a natural leader, not necessarily the rah-rah type, not necessarily the get-in-your-face type, but the natural, like, I'm just going to do all of these little things that over time add up, having him as someone the young kids can follow, I think is great.
And I want to that point, Derek, about when you come into an organization and you see things. And the other day there are a lot of these accounts on Twitter, Instagram, wherever else now, TikTok, that all they do is just post like obscure NBA player highlights. Not necessarily obscure, but guys who are not like, it's not like LeBron and Jordan. It's like, hey, here's a Peja Stojakovic mid-range reel.
Hedver right now is probably running a Watford TikTok with his passing.
So somebody recently, within the last week or so, posted it was 2014, 2015 Brandon Bass mid-range highlights, right?
Yeah.
So this gets posted. And Larry Nance, who is now like a 9-10 year NBA vet, he sees this video and he posts, he says, fun fact, a lot of who I am as a pro comes from Brandon Bass and how he carried himself. His work ethic, professionalism during my rookie year was such a positive influence. I always try to remind myself of that on the tough days. You never know who needs to see you show up, right? And like that last part to me, I think is really powerful. If you think of that as like, all right, let's say you're VJ Edgecombe, right? You were a big time recruit in college or coming out of high school. You solidify yourself as a top 3 pick in the draft, and you have this great reputation as a worker, and you have all these natural gifts. And it's not that I think that he would come to any organization and just like settle for, well, I made it, right? But when you come somewhere and the guy who is the lead guard, the guy who's one of the faces of the franchise, the guy who you're going to share the backcourt with, who you'll fill in for him sometimes when he's on the bench, depending on how they're using you role-wise. This is year 6, right, for Tyrese? In year 6 is there with the two-way players, the minimum signings, and the first and second year guys saying, it matters to be here. It matters to be putting in work on July 30th or mid-August or whenever it is, because the work you are putting in now, it doesn't matter if you had a tough day in the gym today. It doesn't matter what else is going on. This is going to pay off later. You're going to be paid off in some way for this later. Tyrese, he has a bunch of bracelets that he's got like sayings on that he loves to. Yeah. Everyone knows the 1% better one. He says that all the time. He has another one that says LND for leave no doubt. And like that's kind of his whole mentality, right? Is I'm going to do everything that's in my power to make myself better and to make this organization better. And for guys like VJ and Jared and Jabari and Barlow and all these guys, Janai Broom, Adem Bona, that's a really great thing to see him doing this deep into the offseason.
And when he's a young guy at, 25 he is, sometimes, look, guys look to vets and we talk about Paul George and how much these young players look up to Paul George and how that stuff means something. And listening to VJ Edgecombe talk to Paul George and understanding how that could also really work out. Kyle Lowry for Jared McCain, Eric Gordon for VJ Edgecombe. But it can't go without, just paying attention and understanding that somebody that young, established in the league, like Tyrese Maxey, he can connect with these younger players too. And that may go
easier to get a message across from that guy than 100%. Coaches a lot.
Or like me walking, how do you do, fellow kids?
Right. So that could also just do something for the team, for the lineup, comfortability out there on the floor, of course. And then a lot of them in particular play his position. So that's one that certainly could go a long way. Now, the Broom's just a veteran guy that you would think that at this stage of his career, an older player coming in, knowing he has to establish himself, he's going to listen. He's going to listen to everyone and take all of that stuff in and try to make it work and try to be productive for the basketball team. But there's no shortage of positive things to say about Tyrese Maxey and the leadership qualities that he has, and stepping out of that comfort zone or stepping out of that way of let me just blend in that Derek talked about, and just go out there and understand that, you are the one. And especially for right now, for the summer, while the others may not be there, And maybe sometimes they are. We just don't see it on camera. We don't know that they're in there, but we know for sure that Tyrese Maxey is in there, and he is doing nothing but, again, lending a hand and helping all these young players out for everything that they need. And it's really important, especially after coming off of what they had a season ago, where it was a total disappointment. He was part of it. It wasn't his fault, but he was part of it.
Well,
and he doesn't.
It's at least a little his fault.
A little bit,
but,
yeah.
But yeah, your point generally is fair. It's Tyrese Maxey is not the reason they won 24 games.
Yeah, the least of the issues that they had. And now coming in, again, he's going to want to make right for what we saw, of course, from last season that didn't go well. And it was unfortunate. And now what do? We'll see. But it's starting off the right way with the leadership of Tyrese Maxey with these other young players. And it's good to see the young players there. I mean, VJ Edgecombe could be, I don't know, wherever else he could be working out. He could be in Los Angeles. He could be wherever else he wants to be. The same for Janai Broom. And I'm sure that they will be going back and forth to different spots. But being here, establishing, getting themselves settled into the city, it's a good thing.
And that is a nice aspect too. It's not like, and it's not like VJ and Jared are going to be leaders of the team right off the jump, having played a combined 23 games. But they're also kids coming in who you don't really have to you don't have to talk them into working hard. Mm-hmm. They need example, and they need a little bit of camaraderie and a push, but they don't need their mindset change. So it's a really good spot where, like you mentioned, he's young enough where you're kind of in that peer group, but he's got the experience that they don't have, and they've all got the work ethic to work off of each other like that. I'm real interested to see where this trio goes. And obviously we're going to hedge that a little bit with we've got to see how well they can defend together and yada, yada, yada. But to have a young core like this with that much talent and the work ethic and frankly, the ability to improve and the ability to improve quickly in Jared McCain's case and hopefully in VJ's case as well, it will always add a level of excitement to this team and to this roster and to this core that was just missing last year, especially when Jared went down.
It's also just it's easier to hold each other accountable and maintain a level of trust when it's not I haven't seen this guy for 4 months or whatever, right? That they just go to their separate corners. This guy's in LA, this guy's in Texas, this guy's in, parts unknown, wherever they might be. VJ could be in the Bahamas, going back home, doing whatever. When you guys are together and you're putting in the sweat equity, right? Going through these practices, you're in the weight room together, and it's it creates a friendly competition, right? But it also creates a level of respect. It's one thing to know a guy or think a guy is working, right? This guy's got a reputation as a worker. When you can be around it and you're part of that, even in a small way, you're just seeing, hey, I saw Tyrese get 1,000 shots up today. I saw Jared, break his PR in the weight room on squats or whatever. They're just things that in the back of your mind, when you get into games later on, when there are rough patches, you think that it all becomes part of how you view that person, right? It's unavoidable, right? It's just, you're a human being. You say, I can see the work. I know that guy's a worker. Even if there are results, right? If you're not around that person enough to establish that, there can be some mistrust and hey, why aren't you doing XYZ if you're doing it in, a private gym somewhere else? So I do think it'll also help the level of trust these guys will have right away and make it a little easier when Nick Nurse has to look at one of them and say, you're not playing tonight. There's no animosity building between those guys. Maybe you can just direct it at somewhere else.
Yeah. And Tyrese can say, hey, hang in there, stay ready. And when your number's called, you just be ready to go out there and do what you need to do. How would that mix in with the vets that will, in fact, play from Embiid to George to Oubre and others? Let's talk about that a little bit more on the other side as we discuss the young guys, the young leadership headed up by Tyrese Maxey. We'll get into it all right here on the other side on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman Orthopedics.
Hey guys, I'd love to tell you about our good friends at TrueMark Financial Credit Union. Believe it or not, back to school season is almost here. We've been talking all the time about, man, this summer and these days are just flying by recently. Mm-hmm. Even though I don't have kids that are heading back to school, it's a great time to take advantage of those seasonal back to school deals. It could be office supplies, new clothes, you're upgrading your tech, right? New iPhone, new Android, whatever it might be, everything in between those things as well. This year, I'm planning ahead. I'm going to use my TrueMark Financial Credit Union debit card that also earns rewards. Every time I swipe my card and choose credit on purchases, whether it's a new planner, headphones, or just some much needed everyday essentials, I earn points, and those points can be redeemed for cash, gift cards, travel, merchandise, and more. Got my eye on a gift card that I can use for some fall shopping just about anywhere I want. It's a simple way to get rewarded for buying the things I already need. If you're already a TrueMark Financial Credit Union member, be sure to check out your debit card benefits before you hit the stores or start shopping online. If you're not a member yet, now is a great time to join. Stop by one of TrueMark Financial's 24 branches or visit TrueMark.com to open an account. TrueMark Financial Credit Union is federally insured by the NCUA.
All right, so I walked into my garage yesterday and it felt like a sauna.
I got to tell you, Devon, this Philadelphia heat, especially coming off a cool period, no joke.
All right, so here's what I did. I got like 10 bags of ice and I made myself an ice bath to stay cool instead of turning on the AC.
But why wouldn't you just turn on your air conditioning?
Well, I was trying to be energy efficient. Go green, go birds, right? And a little power dribble. Make sure I stay away from it.
Yeah, but, instead of icing yourself out, you could just check out Pico's energy saving rebates. They've got deals on Energy Star cooling equipment that actually work, and they cut down your bills.
Hold on. So no more ice?
Unless it's an ice cold beer, Devon, we don't need to talk about ice.
That makes a lot of sense.
So everybody just head to pico.com/ways to save. They've got tips for everything. Heating, cooling, lighting, you name it. Don't resort to ice like my friend Devon over here. Felt like a sauna, Devon.
Not right now.
Not right now, it's not.
Not right now. Everybody be safe out there. If you do have a sauna in the car maybe and you're just driving, don't look at us. Just make sure you keep your eyes on the road. It's bad out there, so be safe.
You need that YouTube Premium. You can lock the phone and keep listening.
There you go. That's right, Heifer. Go green, go birds.
That's right.
That's indeed. Got a pro football game, Hall of Fame game coming up here shortly. Football is back.
I'm not ready for football yet, so I know I'm in the minority on that one. I'm okay with like a little bit of no sports time. I don't need to pay attention to the Phillies for like another month.
What about the trade deadline today?
Yeah.
Cool.
They got a guy an outfielder that people seem to be mad the type of guy they got, and they got a closer. It's like,
they got a legit closer.
Well,
though.
the closer seems good, but there's only so much excitement I can have for a guy who
like Brandon Marsh all over again.
At maximum is gonna get 6 people out. It's like, oh great, thanks.
But he's got 2 more years of control, so he'll get 6 people out for another 2.5 years.
If you're just talking about all the value proposition and all that, fine. I can't care that much about it. Now, once the playoffs start, then I'll be excited about a closer.
Well, with that though, we will tell everybody that at 5:00 today, you will have the.
If you like baseball more than Kyle, please tune in.
Please tune in.
Which is most people.
For Tyler Zulli at 5 p.m. today, as he talks about the trade deadline, what the Phillies have done. 2 separate moves too. It's funny. 2 separate moves with the same team. All right, cool. Yeah. But they got 2 separate moves with the same team with the Minnesota Twins. Got a closer and a center fielder. See how it all works together. But make sure you tune in at 5 p.m. today on the PHLY Phillies podcast with Tyler Zulli. I think Rich was supposed to be with him. Rich is with him. So make sure you check it out 5 to 7 tonight.
2 baseball guys.
2 baseball guys talking it out, talking it through with all of you right here on the PHLY network.
On my rowboat that I'm going to take home. I will be listening and supporting the gang.
Nice. Like it. All right, let's talk about the young guys. Personality-wise, Derek, we've heard, obviously, Joel Embiid just talk about Tyrese Maxey for years, about how he's the franchise guy, uplifting him and giving him the praise that's due for him as part of this organization. Paul George has said a lot of great things about Tyrese Maxey.
And look, by the way, like a lot of people will question like Joel Embiid and whether or not he was the right leader for the team for the previous couple of years. I do give him a lot of credit for uplifting Tyrese the way that he did and elevating him, making him feel like he should have an ownership stake in the team.
Do you see those two, knowing Joel Embiid as well as you do, being around Paul George for year one, do you see those two naturally allowing that to happen and following the lead, especially the later part of Joel Embiid's career?
Yeah, I truly do. And part of that might be helped by the fact it might be easier to convince Joel of, hey, you need to let Tyrese handle a little bit more because it's just a struggle for you to do what you did 2 years ago. And I certainly think throughout that Knicks series, you saw that. Like, he knew, I mean, what was it, the Batum quote? Who was like, I can't believe he's even walking.
Yes.
In the article. So, like, he probably knew that, like, I can't carry the team, certainly throughout the fourth quarter as the knee starts swelling and getting worse. So I'm going to defer to Tyrese more. But I think he is comfortable with Tyrese having a significant voice, a significant role in the offense. I don't know if he's going to be like, well, I mean, look, he'll say it because he loves joking about that. I don't know if he's going to think to himself like, oh, this is Tyrese's team. I'm now, what's the famous quote when Robinson saw Tim Duncan? He's like, oh, no, everything goes through him now.
Right.
I'm not sure he's going to do that, but I think he's going to cede as much as Tyrese wants to grab. I think Joel Embiid is willing to let him have it.
Do you think that everything goes through him extended to the StarCraft LAN parties that they had? That's one of the funniest. Anybody has like 2 minutes to spend today, look up Tim Duncan's StarCraft. These guys in I guess it would have been late 90s, early 2000s, are professional NBA players. It's like Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Malik Rose, I think might have been it. And they're holed up in a hotel room, just really nerding out over, like, frankly, and I've played StarCraft, but one of the nerdiest sounding games you could possibly play, like real-time strategy. Come on, man. Anyway. So
I appreciate that.
I know you do.
Dork, I appreciate that.
So what do you think as far as those two guys understanding that, yeah, Tyrese might actually be the one that might be more a focal point on most nights as things go along?
I mean, number one, Paul George played like he knew and wanted that to be the case, right? He was happy to say, it's not just Tyrese's team, it's anyone but me's team a lot of the time, right?
We just heard that like a week ago when he was talking to VJ. He's like, no, we don't want to change who you are. Like, just come in here, assert yourself.
And like, look, I think there's some merit to that, right? Where it's creating this environment where guys don't feel like they're stepping on anybody's toes or that they have to say, oh, well, he's made X amount of all-star teams, so we got to go through him first and foremost. And I'm sure there will be moments where Paul puts his hand up and is like, hey, actually, I want the ball right now. We saw it at the end of his first game back that was Phoenix, right?
That was the Phoenix
on the road.
Game. Yep.
And that was, of course, the spot we didn't want him to do
Tyrese
that, which just drove us insane and on both sides of the equation. But so he's already that way. And I think ultimately with Joel, it's all about, what does he think is going to lead to winning, right? Yeah. And I think for the vast majority of his career, he has thought, and rightfully so, ball in my hands is our best choice, right? But he's shown a willingness to adapt the way he plays and how much the other guy is going to get the ball when he's felt he's had the right guy, right? Jimmy Butler was the first one. Jimmy Butler, they altered the offense and gave him the ball a lot, and Joel was cool with that, right? James Harden obviously set up Joel more than it was like the James Harden show.
Yeah.
But James Harden came in and he adapted around him. And then we've seen the chemistry with Tyrese Maxey, and we saw in that Knicks series, right? When Joel was rolling, when he scored 50 in the home game against New York, of course they're going to play through Joel. Of course he's going to, get his shots and get to his spots. But when push came to shove and Joel's having a pretty poor second half in the game that Tyrese saved with the big half court or logo three that he took, he was cool deferring to Tyrese. I don't think he is it's the thing I've pushed back on when it comes up is Joel is not someone who's just like an individual glory hunter, right? He's not just like, oh, I need to get my number, and if we lose, it doesn't matter, right? He wants to win. And if Tyrese is giving them the best chance to win, he's going to let him get the ball. He's going to set hard screens. He's going to pop out for 3-point shots, whatever he needs to do. I firmly believe that. Frankly, the bigger concern is just the thing we talk about all the time. Yeah. Will he actually be on the floor? But I don't think either of these guys are going to like cause a problem if it becomes more of, hey, we're playing through Tyrese.
I do think you're right in that I think he views it as, I'm not looking for my own stats, but I believe that me having the ball and me shooting and me initiating the offense is the best way for us to win. And for most of his career, he's been 100% right. I wonder if maybe he would be a little bit less reliant on that if he played with somebody through the first 5 years of his career who wasn't afraid to score. Like, I wonder if playing
a lot of trust issues coming out of that
Ben Simmons made him
relationship.
be like, well, shoot, man, if I don't shoot, he's just going to sit here and pound the ball in the half court for the next 20 seconds. But yeah, I've said this a billion times, but I really would love an alternate reality where like Tyrese was coming up in that Ben Simmons spot and they got to grow together for their entire career. Unfortunately, we have to try to make do with what we have.
I wanted to add in one more just because really the first part of the conversation in the first segment of the young guys and all, there's another young guy that we haven't brought up today at all, which we've talked a bunch about since the season ended, and we still are talking because he's unsigned, and that's Quentin Grimes. Maybe he would be working out with them now from time to time if he was signed and everything was sealed and delivered, but he's not here, so we don't know. But I mean, I really don't see much of a problem there with him once he does, in fact, get it locked in.
But I think he'd be more in the like fall in line role player thing. It's easy because I think Quentin thinks highly of himself, as he should, right? But I do think he's already shown, all right, I'm playing next to Luka or whoever. I'll be the 3-and-D guy who occasionally attacks off the dribble. Like, there's not a lot of history to suggest that he's some big, gonna like throw his arms up. Like, why didn't you pass me the ball? Now, maybe there's stuff happening behind the scenes that we don't know about, but yeah, I think he'll be fine.
And he does already have a prior, even before he got to the Sixers, relationship with Tyrese Maxey, so shouldn't be much of a problem.
And presuming he gets paid what he wants, or at least in the
gets,
ballpark of what he wants.
Happy man.
I was gonna say, if he gets paid what he wants, I might have a word, or I might have a disagreement with Daryl Morey.
That's another story. But yeah, like if he's on a contract that he's happy with, that's the easiest way to keep someone happy. Like, it's the Don Draper. That's what the money is for.
That's what the money is for. All right, money for some of the other guys that we want to talk about around the league. A little thing popped up around the NBA that was like, had us thinking a little bit about a few players that might now be on the market as the free agent period is pretty much dried up. Of course, with the restricted free agency, we're still trying to figure that part out. Mostly on the Quentin Grimes side, we care about that one. But two players out west that maybe have some interest in, maybe. The problem is they're guards. We'll talk about the interest level on the other side.
More guards, baby.
Right
Build the
here.
team out of guards.
Brian Pumper's rolling his eyes somewhere.
on the PHLY Sixers podcast presented by Rothman. And yes, it is Rothman. No running outside, everybody, because it's raining really hard. You forgot your umbrella. You're trying to get to a safe space and stay dry. Oh, you slipped and you twist your ankle. Oh, man, I feel bad for you. But you know what? That just gives me the opportunity to tell you that get well soon, but do so by going to see my good people at Rothman Orthopedics because, hey, things happen, injuries pop up, or maybe you have something that's a nagging injury that just won't go away. Well, that's where Rothman Orthopedics does, in fact, come in, whether you're running on the beach, swimming some golf clubs, get caught in the rain and you twist an ankle because you didn't see running through this puddle that there was a little thing happening in the Philadelphia streets that, oh man, here we go. It's that problem there. Bang. Twisted ankle. Rothman Orthopedics, their top tier care will have you moving and getting back to enjoying every minute of the summer as quickly as possible by visiting those good people at Rothman Orthopedics. The patients will find full spectrum of orthopedic care at Rothman Orthopedics from diagnosis to discharge. They do provide their patients with every service and procedure necessary, such as x-rays, orthotics and bracing, MRIs, PT, and much, much more. So if you are like me and maybe some others and pain is slowing you down during the season, take the first step. Head to rothmanortho.com/PHLY and schedule your appointment today. Rothman Orthopedics, your summer, your mobility, their mission.
And guys, just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage as well. And Empire Tay can help you get it. Empire Tay has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. We've all been to some of those big box stores, and while they might have a flooring department, the person that actually helps you with the flooring may have been doing sinks yesterday and could be stocking light bulbs tomorrow. Empire Tay lives and breathes flooring, and they'll be with you every step of the way. Their flooring experts bring the showroom right to your home, so you pick the right flooring and the right colors for your space so you can see how it looks with your furniture and in your house. You get precise measurements taken and have all of your questions answered, so there are no surprises. With Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. PHLY listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code PHLY. You heard that right, a $350 discount with code PHLY. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/PHLY for full details.
Welcome back to the PHLY 60 podcast presented by Rothman Orthopedics here on this Thursday. We thank everybody for hanging out with us. Stay dry, stay safe out there as well. And we do want to tell everybody, because it's still ongoing, but it's wrapping up here pretty quickly, and that is, hey folks, $36. The intro offer is still going on. Limited time, $36 training camp special. Get in there. Take advantage of all the great stuff that we have going on. Join this great community of over 6,600 diehards. You get a free shirt, Discord access, merch, event discounts, and more. We had our event on Tuesday. The PHLY Flyers guys have their Q&A on Monday, and it's only available to diehard members. And it's easier to sign up when you only have to pay $36 for the intro offer. So go do so. As of right now, we got a few more signups that have ongoing, but we're a little short of our goal. So if we could, come on, everybody, sign up, $36. Get in there and make sure you become a diehard member here with the PHLY community. $36. Only a few hours left. Jump on in. Take advantage of it right now. All right, let's get to these other
trade rumors, baby.
These other guards that are maybe out there on the market. So it was reported that Sacramento Kings are making available both Malik Monk and Devin Carter, their rookie from a season ago, available via trade.
This, by the way, is via Matt George, who is a sports anchor for ABC 10 in Sacramento, also hosts the Locked On Kings podcast.
And one of the things that he said was the Kings were looking to move either one of these players before Russell Westbrook seems to be one of their targets for the Sacramento Kings, and looking to move that. So would you have any interest in either one of those? Devin Carter, we talked about him a lot pre-draft the season a year ago, and Malik Monk with De'Aaron Fox out, and I don't even know what their guard situation honestly looks like outside of Zach LaVine, Malik Monk, and DeMar DeRozan. I don't even know what it really looks like. And Devin Carter, of course.
And Neat Clifford.
And Keon Ellis is also there, but
they got a lot of guards.
No true lead guard, though. And bringing in Russell Westbrook, I don't know what that really helps. But that said, do you have any interest in either one of those players under their current contract situation?
Well, Malik Monk is basically a non-starter because he's making, I believe, like 18-ish, and then that deal gets up to 21 or so by the end of the deal. But 18 is a pretty difficult number for the Sixers to get to. By difficult, it's borderline impossible unless it's part of a bigger deal with bigger salaries, or you're combining like 3 or 4 guys, right, to get to that number.
Especially because, as a reminder, if they sign Quentin Grimes, let's say to $16 million, I think they would be about $5 million under that, under the second apron. And if you take back more salary in a trade than you send out, then you get hard capped at that second apron, which means at the end of that trade, you would have to be under that. It would be really tough, even if you could find a way.
Yeah. So I like Malik Monk. I think he has shown a lot of growth as a playmaker over the last few years, where that was certainly not a much of a thing when he was coming out of school. So he has become an appreciably better player. Like, he is over 5.5 assists a game last year, right? And has the track record as a shooter, although he's pretty volatile there. He's more of a volume, like kind of difficult shot maker a lot of the time, but isn't really a fit here. I don't know that Devin Carter is either, but you could at least talk me into, he's on the rookie deal. He had a terrible rookie season. Some of that was because he was hurt and didn't play his first game until I think like early to mid-January, and really struggled to shoot the ball or do much of anything on offense, which, hey, classic Kyle Neubeck guy. It's like, boy, this guy defends his butt off, but he doesn't do anything on offense yet. So So had a really tough rookie season and liked him enough coming out, and the defense translated right away where he was an event creator. He's getting steals. He's getting blocks. He's going to be a good transition player. I would have at least a little bit of interest in him. But again, with this roster and all the guards they have, he would have to be a considerably better shooter to justify even getting on the floor. And he's still making a good amount of money. Like, he's not making Malik Monk type money, but I think he's probably making like $5, $6, $7 million, somewhere in that range, based on where he was selected. So I don't really see now. If you're just saying you're dumping Andre Drummond and you're getting back a player like Devin Carter, sure, because I don't want Andre Drummond to see the floor. But I don't think that type of deal is out there.
No, I agree. And it is one where, because he shot a little bit his last year at Providence, but he was a complete non-shooter before then. So he comes out here and he shoots 20% from 3-point range, 37% from the field. His
Not
defense,
good.
no, it's not great. His defense is certainly legitimate. And I think that was certainly a scouting report on him coming out, that he could be a real, incredible, as Kyle phrased it, event generator, defender. I think a guy who has a little bit of versatility. He's only, 6'3"-ish, but he has like a 6'9" wingspan. So I think he can defend up a position decently well. But you've got to be able to shoot. Like, just point blank, especially as a guard, but even as a defensive-minded guard, you cannot be a complete non-shooter. Yeah. Right now, that's what he is. So if you're telling me, like, to your point, Andre Drummond, you can bring him on, see if he can develop, okay, fine. You can cut one of your other two assistant coach / guard combo players that you have on the roster. I'm okay with that, but I'm not giving up value for it.
No, and honestly, I mean, I really don't have much interest in either one of them just because there's so many guards here right now. But if the Devin Carter piece came about and they decided they wanted to see if they can develop him and see where that could go in the future, then okay, that's fine. But I just think there's such a logjam, and I want to see Jared McCain play. I want to see VJ Edgecombe play. And when they do bring back Quentin Grimes on whatever contract that is, he's going to play. So I don't see where it's going to benefit them if they got into this mix outside of just trying to, let's take a swing, see if we can get this guy. It's going to be pretty cheap, develop Devin Carter to see if he has it. He was injured for the better part of the first part of the season. But when he came back, to your point of the outside shooting, I watched some of their games just because it was like, all right, I'm up late. Let me watch some of these Sacramento games. And he didn't look good. No. He just looked lost out there. Whether it was
doesn't
shooting,
really have an offensive role. There's
even the defense, which is why we talked about him as much as we did at that 16 spot, his defense was way behind. Maybe that was just the fact that he did miss so much time. He couldn't get on the floor. And he was with the G League team and how that worked out. But when he got to the NBA games, it did not look good as far as his defense goes. Now,
I'll say this, the defense stuff, I'm pretty sure he had like the best defensive splits of any player on the roster, which says a lot about how crappy Sacramento season went and kind of the surrounding personnel. So I agree with, like, he's a rookie, right? So even if he was a good defensive rookie, good defensive rookies are still bad NBA defenders by and large. But that's where I'll give him more of a pass. I think he was in a crappy context and still was a decent defender. I won't say good defender on a team that had very few of those.
Certainly,
the offense is a disaster. That's the big thing,
right? And if he had, again, a full training camp, did not get hurt, didn't have to spend that time with the G League team, and he was just up there with the big club, maybe the defense would have shown a little bit more. And look, to be honest, again, I said I watched some Sacramento King games. There were some Sacramento Kings games, so there weren't a lot.
There are only so many Kings games any of us are watching
so
last season.
I wasn't sitting there breaking all of that down and watching Kings late night every night. There were only a few, so it was a small sample size. So another opportunity, a full training camp to see what it looks like, see if the defense really translates like we think it should. Then I do think he might be all right. Running the team, I'm curious because he's a point guard. So can he run that? Can he run that team? Can he play 20 minutes? Can he run a basketball team? I want to see if that also catches up.
If you're getting me somebody from that Sacramento team, I want Keon Ellis. That's a guy I want on my basketball team. He has shot the lights out for 3 years now. Admittedly, early on, it was on pretty low sample, but two-way player, the guy who at least cares on both ends of the floor, has better size. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", somewhere in that range. So I don't think he's going anywhere. I think there's a reason that they're shopping Devin Carter and Monk, who's making a bunch more money, but I love Keon Ellis. I think he's a role player that if you put him on a competent team, all of a sudden, like if you just in a fantasy world, you just took him and put him on the Lakers, he'd become a cult hero in the span of like a month and a half.
Yep. So we'll see, man. We'll see about those guys.
Keon Ellis, you're welcome on our show anytime.
Anytime. Did you know there was NBA handles week?
Is it?
I only knew because I saw the Sixers Twitter account.
This goes back to the this is the fake holiday stuff for
Donut Day.
NBA handles week. What are we talking about?
They're allowed to do that in the offseason.
Yeah, they're allowed.
They're allowed to do that.
Doesn't mean I have to approve of it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I have to acknowledge that it's a real thing.
Yes, NBA. Apparently, I didn't know it was Thursday, and I guess we're a little behind. It's NBA handles week. As the Sixers post on their Twitter account a Tyrese Maxey clip and showing off his handles.
Someone needs to handle Gilbert Arenas, apparently.
Did you see him leaving the courthouse yesterday?
I'm just gonna leave it. I'll just leave it.
You know, there you go, Bree. Thank you so much. They're showing that it's NBA handles week by showing off some Tyrese Maxey moves. The leader of the Philadelphia 76ers doing this thing against Nembhard in the Indiana Pacers.
All right, so I think here's a question based on NBA handles week.
Yes.
I think most people would probably agree. Allen Iverson, number one, Sixers history handle.
Mm-hmm.
Who's on the Mount Rushmore or in the top 5?
Best handles in the NBA. Are we?
No, in the
Sixers.
The Sixers who have played for the Sixers.
Iverson, Harden.
Yeah.
Do
you put Lou up there?
I was thinking Lou or Drew between those two. How far back do we go, though? Do we go back to...
I'm saying Sixers history.
Like Mo
I mean,
Cheeks?
once you get in the 70s, they could barely dribble.
Yeah,
so I'm not counting
listen.
them.
I think Mo
those
Cheeks
guys
could
are
dribble.
much better basketball players than I've ever been or will ever aspire to be. But
It doesn't compare to the...
the handles back then are not what they are now.
While they weren't fancy and all, Mo Cheeks is, for me, a handles guy and on there. So I would say Mo Cheeks, Allen Iverson, James Harden. And their Mount Rushmore is only 4, so who's the other?
That's right. I was defaulting to 5.
Yeah, who's the other?
That's why I asked it. I was going through my
They don't have a ton of great
mental
guards.
catalog.
That's not really their strength.
Andre Miller is a good one.
But it was more functional. I don't know if he was a great handle.
Andre Miller?
Yeah.
And a lot of that
good
was
handle.
body control
Yeah.
too, right? It's not as much.
How about Drew Holiday? Or it wasn't enough here where he might have shown it elsewhere.
I'm trying to think if there was anybody who was like a great ball handler who only briefly played here that we can somehow just like squeeze in there. Like he didn't last long in the league, but if like Sham God had like a 10-day with the,
Rafer
the
Alston,
Sixers.
Skip to my Lou was on the Sixers.
Oh, that's my guy,
Casper
man.
Ware.
Casper
Can't
Ware,
put Casper Ware on any Mount Rushmore.
All right, so Mo Cheeks, Allen Iverson.
There are a couple of Hersey Hawkins
James Harden.
shouts in the chat. Oh, Devon shot that. I could listen. I was so young when he was on the team.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you.
Again, somebody brought up Johnny Dawkins and Hersey Hawkins. I would say Johnny Dawkins had a way better handle than Hersey Hawkins did. Hersey Hawkins was a much better shooter.
How good was Doug Collins' handle? Because he's the number one overall player. I assume his handle was pretty good.
How old do you think we
He
are?
was a 2-guard, but I don't know.
But I'm saying, like, I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, because then if that's the case, then you go back to Guy Rogers and
Hal Greer
and those guys and all of that. So I'm not going back that far. So I would say those 3 for sure. Harden, Iverson, Mo Cheeks, and maybe Lou Williams. Just you fit Lou right in there and say, Lou, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it. Ooh.
Sweet Lou.
Not great.
Sweet
Lou.
Sweet Lou. Absolutely. All right. So before we wrap things up and get ready to get out of here, we talked about Tyrese Maxey. Stopped by the event.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyrese.
The new sneaker release that Devon was at.
He's
I see some New Balances on his feet right now.
I could not go to a New Balance event with
Or
Nikes
Nikes.
on.
But you wore those shoes look clean, and you wore them out on a day where we were getting like full 24-hour notice. Hey, it's going to be raining cats and dogs out there today.
I thought it was supposed to start at like
I
4
respect
o'clock on that one. So, yeah, it was a cool event. I got there a little late, but Tyrese. Kids are there, and they brought some kids. It was through Foot Locker and New Balance, and they put on a pretty good event. There's one of the things as soon as you walk in with the shoes showcased immediately right there, and that was pretty cool. The setup of where he's seated with the the questions and all was pretty dope too. Where you could see how New Balance and Foot Locker set that up with the 4 chairs. And as far as the 4 chairs go, so AO, you talk about handles. Aaron Owens, AO was there. He was part of the panel that was there.
Hey, yo!
Yes.
I can still hear that in my head.
You guys familiar with Grady Diaz from ESPN?
The name sounds familiar.
She was the moderator pretty much for the event. Our good buddy, Saladin, King Saladin.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Saladin was there as well.
Have you seen the, I think he actually has probably done it by now. He was doing a huge mural over by the art museum. And I think it's like sidewalk type murals in some of the.
So you were out one day. Me and Derek were talking about it because I had asked Derek if he was going to go over there with me. It was something that he was doing for a major shoe brand. And, we were all invited. You weren't here, but I asked Derek if he wanted to go. And also Saladin's doing some stuff. And, yeah. So, yes, I did see it. We did see it. It's pretty cool. I have some more things that he's doing. And we'll talk more about that.
Shout out to Saladin.
Later. So shout out to Saladin for what he's doing. And so, yeah, they were all there. It was a great event. Tyrese. Chris, his guy Chris was there. That Tyrese is always there and working out with. Chris was there as well. So it was good, cool, really cool event. And we brought back, just some stuff for the set, a little photo for the set that I don't know if people can see it, but right behind right over Derek's shoulder, you can see that the poster.
Tyrese is always watching you, Derek.
Tyrese is always watching. So yes, it was a really cool event as well. The sneakers look really good in person, also. So they did a really good job. Of putting that together. The store was closed. People were trying to get in, but it was closed. And it was a really cool event. So when we talk about Tyrese, it was great to see Foot Locker and New Balance come together and Tyrese to come together to release that. So pretty cool.
So where are your sneakers? How come you didn't get a pack?
Mine were already sent out. So I didn't get it.
And the truth is revealed.
I didn't get them at the store because they were already sent out. So when you talk about
I expect you'll have ours in the mail shortly.
Have my people talk to your people to try to make sure we can.
Well, it's funny because Tyrese all the time in the locker room is always like, I need to start wearing some New Balance. And I'm like, you send me shoes, I'll wear them. That doesn't, for me, I'm not covering you any differently if some sneaker person sends me a pair of shoes in the mail. So I'll wear New Balance.
I would hope that your integrity is a little worth a little more.
It takes
than
a little more than
$150
pair of shoes to buy my integrity. So.
They are dope though. They're nice sneakers. People, if you want them, go check them out. And I'll see if you can get them. All right, on the way out, I wanted to quiz my guys here quickly on some.
Oh God! I
just
hate
because.
Off-season. No, I'm making fun of myself here.
It's the 77 number of VJ Edgecombe, which none of us love, but we're like, all right, whatever, let's have at it. So I wanted to ask you guys some of the quick numbers before we get to the ending part of the show with the roll call. We won't really get into any overtime, but I wanted to ask just some weird numbers. I'll throw one right away that I think you guys are going to know. 76. One player wore 76.
Bradley?
Sean Bradley.
Oh, I would have guessed world. That felt like a world number.
Who wore 72 for the Sixers? More modern, also.
Really?
Yes.
I don't remember very many
72 during the 2010-2011 season.
Oh, God. Those teams, I blacked out of my mind entirely.
Yes.
2010-2011.
2010-2011. Who wore number 72 for the 76ers?
Was it a big man?
No, it was not.
What guard? Oh, well, I mean,
he was a wing, I'll say. Guard wing. known for one thing only.
Shooting?
Yes.
Oh, is it
Capono?
Capono?
Yes, it was. He wore number 72.
God.
72. All right, 88.
I remember
think you
it
guys
was
know
like
this.
people were like, yeah, they got a shooter. And then he, oof.
88. We talked about this on the show before.
88.
One player. Also, 2015.
You want to talk about a million people.
Even Brett doesn't remember this one.
I'll give you this one. Lexi Shred.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
88. Lexi Shred.
No, I did not register that one at all.
This is more recent. 65. Who wore 65?
Alex Reese.
Yep. Alex Reese and George Ratkovich in 1950 wore 65 as well. That's to be expected because
Couldn't
they
have
had some
gotten
weird
that one.
numbers. Back then, I will give you 47. Who wore number 47 in 2017?
47.
He wasn't here very long. And you know the player. Who wore 47?
In 2017?
2017.
Was it 17-18 or 16-17?
Just says 2017.
Well, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
Big
man.
Byron Mullins?
No.
No, we talked about BJ not too long ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
47.
Formerly,
That was earlier than 2017.
Formerly
That
of the
was
Spurs.
Formerly. of
Dwayne
the-
Dedman?
No.
Splitter?
Yes.
There you go.
Tiago Splitter
completely
wore
forgot he was here.
47.
Very briefly. Yeah.
All right, some odd numbers. One few more. 28. Just give me one not named Gershon Yabusele.
What? No kidding.
28. This was 1993, part of the Charles Barkley trade.
Oh.
Lang?
Yes.
Yeah.
Andrew Lang wore 28, 27, in 2018, a guard.
27 and 2018.
His father is a longtime NBA coach. 27.
God. Longtime NBA coach.
Yes.
Father still coaching?
No.
Previously coached.
Yes, he might be an assistant somewhere.
Larry
but he's
Drew?
not- yes, Larry Drew II wore 27 for the Philadelphia 76ers in 2018. And as far as weird numbers goes, those are pretty much the weird off-script numbers of why are you wearing that one? 39, we know that Jeremy Grant wore 39, so I wasn't going to throw that one at you. Dwight Howard wore 39 also,
Right.
so
Right.
wasn't going to throw that
I actually
one.
did not remember. I thought Dwight wore 38 for some reason.
Okay.
So I would have been off by one on that. Jeremy, I always remember.
Yeah, so there you go. Just wanted to quiz you guys on some weird numbers that.
Devon and the numbers, man.
Yeah, I thought because I was like, man, these some weird ones. Anybody else wore 77? No one has worn 77 for the Sixers.
There you go.
That would
VJ
be
and Luca.
VJ
Yeah.
and Luca in the NBA.
Very similar skill sets between
Yes,
those two
indeed.
young men.
All right, let's say goodbye to everybody on this Thursday and say goodbye to Bree and Kyle.
Vacation time, baby. I'll see everybody after I get back in like a week and a half.
Yes.
So thank you everyone for being here, and I hope you still stick around and hang out with our friends Derek and Devon tomorrow, and Derek and I believe Rich and some other friends next week. Thank you to my girl Winona, to Money Mar,
What up,
to
Mar?
D Flyers, to Hedfa, to Antoine, to Eugene Ross,
What
to
up, Twan?
Attila, to Marcus Blackstock, to You Done Messed Up, A-Ron. Oh,
Got your umbrella. You
that
done
kills
messed up
me.
out there.
Phi Chi. We had Trey Baker, who was asking about Maury's comments on the bubble.
The
We will
bubble.
have a video up on that over the weekend. We
Yes.
already filmed. We got Yams. We got Edward King,
What up,
who is
Eddie?
big time on the Drew Holiday Mount
Handles.
Rushmore handles.
He's on the Mount Rushmore.
We hear you loud and clear. Jason Hart, the court jester.
Jason Hart.
007, not to be confused with Brett the Hitman Hart.
There you go.
Oh, all right. We're running out of time here, ladies and gentlemen. So a short roll call today. Thank you all for being here. On the way out, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you get notifications each and every time we go live. And please hit the thumbs up button to say happy vacation, super producer Bree. You have earned it.
Yes, indeed.
The show will still be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Until then, take care, stay safe. Goodbye.
See ya.